Welcome back to our channel and part 2 of our visit with the endangered African penguins at Boulders Beach, Cape Town, South Africa. In part 1, we spent time at the protected beach area where the main colony is found. In this episode, we take a short walk to a nearby public beach area where these penguins enjoy the seaside alongside human beachgoers. These plastic domes seen here are a conservation intervention to replace lost habitat. As mentioned in part 1, African penguins will nest on sandy beaches or dig burrows on the beach or in the vegetation. Despite having their own private beach, they roam freely and will nest away from the protected area. This is not ideal as they can become victims to domestic or feral cats and dogs from the surrounding residential area. In an effort to supplement the little remaining habitat, conservation organizations and colony managers have tried to develop an artificial nest that African penguins could use. Unfortunately, these attempts have seen limited success. In many cases, the penguins chose not to use the nesting structures. Guano is an excrement produced specifically from bats and seabirds. It is high in nitrogen and so commonly used as a fertilizer. But did you know that it was even used to manufacture gunpowder? It was highly sought after during the 19th century before the use of synthetic fertilizers. While using penguin poo is highly resourceful, the collection of guano can be devastating for the penguins. In some locations, this has led to penguins nesting on the surface, exposing their eggs and chicks to additional risks that weren't as significant in the burrow nests. This leads to a higher rate of nest abandonment when the climate is unsuitable for the adults to continue their nesting attempt. This young penguin is in the process of molting. It is changing from the fluffy brown down to a stage known as baby blues, a name given due to the blue undertone of the new feathers. They're also known as Blueys. You can see that it has no white face markings and no bold delineated markings. This penguin's feathers are still not waterproof, so it is still wholly reliant on its parents for food. Feeding by the parents is done by direct beak-to-beak regurgitation. A chick nearing fledgling can consume up to 500 grams of food per day. By the time they reach the baby blue stage, they are large enough to survive alone or at least near the nest site. Here we have a bluey in the company of an adult exiting the water. Blueys do not have the same color pattern as the adults, nor do they target the same food source. They feed more exclusively on fish larvae, which is slower moving than the bait fish, and it is found closer to the water surface. Their dull coloration may make it easier to creep up on their prey, and also make them less visible to predators like orcas, sharks, and seals. If food has been plentiful, the bluey may be ready for sea at about 2 months. If it has been scarce, it can take up to 4 months to be strong enough for a taste of the wild and potentially dangerous ocean. The weight of chicks can vary considerably at fledgling. Some of the heavier specimens can weigh up to 4 kilograms. For the first few years of their life, they are extremely mobile, traveling great distances. An interesting fact is that one individual ringed with a flipper band in Algoa Bay on the east coast of South Africa was recovered at Ikabu Island in Namibia on the west coast of southern Africa. That is a swim of 1,300 kilometers. Blueys will keep their juvenile plumage for up to a year, after which they need to return to land to molt. This molting process takes 3 weeks, and during this time they cannot feed until it is completed, as they are not waterproof. They will lose up to 40% of their body weight. Once molting is completed, they will look just like the adults. The public section of Boulders Beach is quite small, nestled in between granite rocks that are 540 million years old. Way down there, in amongst the bathers, are a couple of African penguins. Let's head down there and see what we can see. As we approach the beach, there is a gate system to prevent the penguins from crossing the parking area. Notice the sign. Penguins don't actually bite as they have no teeth. Their beaks are razor sharp, designed for fishing, but they will peck at you if they feel threatened. But I guess there isn't enough space to put all of that in a sign. It is easy to see why the bathers and penguins enjoy this beach. The massive boulders, which is how the beach got its name, protect the beach from the prevailing southeast wind. The beach is affected by tide movement and is quite a bit smaller during high tide. Male and female penguins have the same black and white plumage, so it's difficult to know the gender at first glance. These penguins are sunning themselves on the rocks, totally unperturbed by the surrounding bathers. Seeing penguins in Africa is one thing, but experiencing wildlife this close is quite surreal. Thanks for watching. You're welcome to comment and share the video. Please subscribe to Ultimate Safari for future content.